Representative Seabaugh?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Next set of amendments is a 3-page set of amendments authored by Representative Seabaugh and others. That set number is 4357.
All right. Representative Seabaugh.
Okay, thank you. I was just checking the amendment number. Several of you co-authored amendment set that was, I had number 4001, so apparently somewhere the amendment number changed, but it's the same one. It's the same amendment that we previously talked about and some of you have seen. Look, Louisiana has been called the most pro-life state in the nation. Most of us are. I am. Look, pro-life bills fly off of this floor with little to no opposition, and they have for generations, for decades. We have many, many laws which protect the unborn in Louisiana. We have the most stringent abortion protections in the nation within the law. They have triggers. They say when Roe v. Wade is overturned or something else, a federal constitutional amendment, anything along that line that would remove the restrictions placed on us by Roe versus Wade, then these laws go into effect. We started out by allowing abortion only before 20 weeks. There was a bill outlawing abortion after 20 weeks, then after 15 weeks, then after 6 weeks. We had the partial birth abortion ban. We had the fetal heartbeat bill. There's a lot of protections for the unborn in Louisiana that exist. And as soon as Roe v. Wade is overturned, they're going to go into effect, and the unborn will be protected in Louisiana. House Bill 813 has a number of problems. Representative Ivey actually did a very good job of going over some of those, the separation of powers and constitutional issues specifically. The U.S. and Louisiana constitutions lay out a system of separation of powers. We have an executive branch, a legislative branch, and a judicial branch. The legislative branch does not get to tell the judicial branch how to rule on cases. That's what this bill does. It declares itself to be constitutional, and it says any ruling that contradicts with the bill is unconstitutional and must be ignored, must be enjoined. You just can't do that. That's not a power that the legislature has. We can't grant ourselves the power to order a court to rule a future act unconstitutional. We just can't do that. It is very problematic. And look, I think Roe versus Wade is one of the worst decisions this ever come out of the U.S. Supreme Court, ever. Up there with Dred Scott and a couple of others. It is an abomination, in my opinion. But it's the law. Like it or not, it is the law. It's been the law for almost 50 years. Well, it is the law. And look, I grade the constitutional law section of the bar exam. Every year, there is a question on the exam about a bill, hypothetical, passed by the Louisiana legislature. Every year. And it's some kooky law. So when I'm reading bills, I look for, is this a good bar exam question? This isn't even a good bar exam question. I promise you, if any examinee read this and argued that it was not a violation of the state and federal constitution, he's going to fail the bar exam immediately, because it's not even close. But this bill has problems other than constitutional. It criminalizes essential elements of in vitro fertilization. It does not actually specifically make in vitro illegal, but it makes elements that are essential to successful in vitro fertilizations illegal. We all know people who were not able to conceive except for in vitro fertilization. It is not something that I'm ready to outlaw. It criminalizes women. Say that however you want, but this bill criminalizes women. One of the issues that Representative Ivey brought up is the judges can be removed or impeached if they rule against this bill. The only way that I know of to remove a judge is to impeach them. So I don't know what the or is, removed or impeached, but it just doesn't seem to make any sense. And look, let me be very clear. If passage of House Bill 813 would prevent one abortion, I would not be standing here right now. But this bill will not prevent a single abortion from occurring. Not one. If anybody has told you that passage of 813 will prevent a single abortion, they misled you or they don't know how the law works. Because the fact of the matter is, if we pass this bill and the Senate passes this bill and the governor signs this bill, it will be enjoined the next day. Because Roe versus Wade is still the law of the land. The U.S. Supreme Court said you can't do this. So the injunction would go into place and it would not be lifted until Roe versus Wade is overturned. And guess what? We already have laws which are going to go into effect when Roe versus Wade is overturned. So we don't need this bill. It's already protected. And look, we're a nation of laws. I've heard a lot. There's a guy wearing a shirt outside, and I have several people tell me, why don't we just ignore Roe? Wouldn't that be fun if we could just ignore the Supreme Court? Look, we're a nation of laws. We can't do that. But let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say that right now, one of the penalties for murder is the death penalty. It's available, it's in the books. If you know somebody has committed murder, you cannot go over to their house and shoot them. You can't do that without facing the consequences. It is itself, in fact, murder. You can't do that. We cannot ignore the law. We have a rule of law in this country, and we can't do that. Look, the Representative McCormick is obviously committed. He has deep commitment. The people here supporting him have commitment. But this bill's passage would not prevent a single abortion, not one. And I would like to go ahead and offer the amendment at this time, which I'll have on your computer. I don't know if it's been passed out, but you can see that it is essentially Representative Jackson's Senate Bill 342. It keeps the Roe versus Wade triggers in place. If and when Roe versus Wade is overturned, those triggers go into law. It clarifies some of the law. It has a severability clause. It clarifies what Louisiana law will go into effect when Roe versus Wade is overturned. It specifies that it is unlawful for a physician to perform the abortion. It specifies the criminalization of the physician or other person who performs the abortion, not the woman seeking abortion. It does not outlaw contraception with the moniker, if it is administered prior to the time when a pregnancy could be determined through conventional medical testing. It does not criminalize any aspect of in vitro fertilization, and it does not apply any criminal penalties to the pregnant female. That has always been an essential element of pro-life law. Louisiana law has always been about protecting the babies and protecting the women. And this amendment will continue that. The bill 813 in its current form does not. Personally, I want to apologize to each and every one of you. This bill came through Criminal Justice Committee. I sit on that committee, and I should have done this in committee, and I didn't. I voted the bill out of committee because by the time I figured out what I was supposed to do, it was too late. We're having to do this here. If we had done our job in committee, we could have amended it in committee, and we could have avoided this. And for that, I want to apologize to you because I didn't have the idea soon enough. Based upon the leaked opinion that we all read a couple of weeks ago, it looks like Roe versus Wade is about to be overturned. We're on the precipice of the most significant pro-life victory in this country in 50 years. We should be celebrating together, embracing each other as brothers in Christ. We should not be at each other's throats over a bill that is blatantly unconstitutional, makes criminals out of women, would not prevent a single abortion, and as far as I can tell, was only presented to give a couple of misguided people a platform. So I ask you please join me in approving this amendment, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, we do have a question. Representative McGee for a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, under Louisiana's law on murder,
Currently or in the bill?
Current law murder does not prescribe, is that correct?
That's correct.
So if this bill was to pass, you could go back and arrest every woman who had an abortion. Is that correct?
There's some language in the bill that attempts to prevent that, but I don't believe it would be effective. So the answer to your question, I think, is yes.
And if under Louisiana law principle, then you could also arrest the father as well. Is that correct?
Theoretically, yeah.
Possibly the mother.
Yes.
Would you agree with me the most powerful testimony at a pro-life rally or any pro-life argument is a woman who regrets having an abortion?
I'm sorry, can you say that
Would
again?
you agree with me that the most powerful testimony that anybody can give for pro-life argument is a woman who had an abortion who regrets her decision?
Yes.
So we would be potentially arresting that woman.
That would be correct, yeah.
You would agree with me that IVF brings life into this world.
Absolutely.
And under this law proposed by Representative McCormick, the parents could be arrested for murder for trying to have a baby.
Yes.
The doctor could be arrested for murder for trying to help people have a baby.
If the fertilized embryos are destroyed, yes.
And you would agree with me, these people spend thousands of dollars to bring these kids into the world.
Absolutely.
To love them, to nurture them, to care for them.
Yes.
And under your amendment, that's no longer possible, correct? The IVF
Clarify the question. The bill does not affect IVF, current laws on IVF in any way.
So your amendment's going to take out of all the stuff
Yes.
from Representative McCormick's bill where we could have prosecuted
Yes.
loving couples who want to bring babies into the world.
Correct.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions. Is there any objection to the adoption of the amendment? All right, on your objection.
I do appreciate y'all being here today, but I do want to thank all of my supporters that are here today. Now, this is an odd place, because a week ago, the gentleman that's offering the amendment was one of my biggest supporters and encouragers in telling me that it's time to do this. But this isn't about me. It's not about anybody in this room. It's about the 20 babies a day that are being ripped out of the wombs of the mothers by hands, by their feet, and tore apart. That's something we need to address. But evidently, the political winds are blowing, and it won't be addressed today. I'll be glad when we come in here and we can abolish abortion, do away with it, be done with it. That's what I'm looking forward to. The main reason I can't support this amendment is because this amendment does away with equal protection. Equal protection gives the unborn baby the same rights as a born baby. That's what it does. You know, it's really simple. And if we don't do that, if we vote for this amendment, we say those babies are subhuman. Now, if we don't believe life begins at conception, hey, I understand that completely. I understand. But my conviction is solid. And like I've asked Representative Seaball when he supported my bill, and everybody in here that talked to me, bring me an amendment. We want to work with everybody in here. We want to make this bill better. Not one amendment, not one conversation that brought an amendment to the floor. You know, we talk about Representative Seaball sits up here and shoots holes in this legal document. All due respect, I love him. But he's an insurance attorney. If I went to him and asked him to defend me in this case, he would say you would need to go hire somebody that knows something about this. Now, as you very well know as lawyers, we can put 20 in a room and they can argue what the definition of is for 3 days. It's that simple. But anyhow, I do appreciate your time, and I do respect all of you, and I thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you.
All right, Representative Seaball, close on your amendment.
It's true, I am an insurance attorney. But who'd you rather take legal advice from? Anyway, do the right thing and vote for this amendment. Thank you.
All right. Representative Seaball offers up an amendment which Representative McCormick objects to. All those in favor of the amendment vote yea. Those opposed vote nay. The clerk will open the machine. Members, vote your machines. Vote your machines, members. Vote your machines. You through voting? Through voting? All right. Close them up. 65 yeas, 26 nays, and the amendment is adopted. Representative McCormick on your bill.
Hello, and like I said, I do want to say I appreciate this, and I don't want this conversation to end, but I think it's ended for today. Mr. Speaker, if you don't mind, I'd like to remove this bill back to the calendar, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Without objection.